What's up, guys? Today I'm wearing the Batman t-shirt. Obviously, we're going to be doing something Batman related. Today I'm going through Lego Batman, the video games, 32 levels, and I'm putting them obviously in the tier chart. So we're going to see see what I think, Obviously, this is going to be very subjective. This is what I find fun. So if you guys have anything that you like, feel free to put them in the comments, okay? Uh, yeah, again, this is what I like, and I'm glad I get to, I get to share this with you guys. Let y'all know what my criteria are. My criteria are level design, so that layout, the flow, the nav, the fun factor, how enjoyable it actually is, the gameplay variety, the puzzles, the combat, and stuff like that. The theme, does it feel like it's Gotham? Does it feel gritty and dark and just kind of like that traditional Gotham sense? When you watch animated shows or if you even play the Arkham games, just something that's like that super dark and gritty and kind of like something that's a little bit more than what you put in a Lego video game. You know what I mean? And then obviously the puzzle quality, just seeing, what's up with that. But anywho, let's go get started. All right. The first level you open up with is Bank on Batman. All right. So that is Clayface as the antagonist. And so you start off the game, you're getting used to the mechanics. You open up, you get to unlock a suit and stuff like that. So as you're fighting through, getting used to just the feel of the game is a really good starter feel for the game, in my opinion, because it's like, okay, this is, I'm being introduced to the mechanics and just kind of like, I love this. It's super dark, which I enjoy, but it's not too dark because obviously it's the first level of the game. There are darker visually levels throughout the game, which I'll talk about later. But you know, I I really do like this level. You think about it, it's the classic. It's got a high nostalgia value for me. And honestly, it is pretty fun. You get to run around, you get to blow stuff up, and you get to use Robin's tech suit and get that little car around into the room and unlock the things. But then, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the very very few levels where you can get the um, red brick just by playing the story if you play it, if you know where to look. But anyways, I love it. This level, special place in my heart. That's why this is going up in the S. Oh, not B tier, S tier. Now, hold your horses. It is unfortunately the lowest level in the S tier, so don't think I'm all that crazy about this level. But it does, it has a special place for me. All right. Next level, we have an icy reception. That is where you meet Mr. Freeze. We start off in the front parking lot or entrance area of an ice cream factory, which makes sense. Mr. Freeze is cold. But I mean, it's good. It's a good level. It's pretty solid. I think, it's super engaging. I think it's got a lot of like got a lot of good things about it. I'm trying to figure out my words because I'm not preparing. This is all off the dome, and then I'm gonna edit it later. Or if you're watching now, I've already edited. Anyway, this an icy reception I think is a very good level. It's not too challenging. You continue to unlock some suits. It's a good level. The freeze, I do not. I love everything about this level except I don't enjoy the boss fight. You 1-2 freeze and then he goes up there and then it's like it's back again. You're fighting the goons and finally at the end you're able to take him out a little bit. But that fan thing, like I did not enjoy the boss fight at all, and that is why I'm only putting it at an A tier. All right, number three we've got Two-Face Chase. Now it's a vehicle level. It's not that good, okay, but it is by far the best of the vehicle levels. So, I mean, I don't even know how else to explain it. You drive around in the car and you shoot stuff and you get a ton of coins and it's super repetitive, just like pretty much or it's probably the most repetitive of the vehicle levels, but it truly to me is the best of them. I think it's way better than anything in a boat or flying. I think the ground driving level about it, and actually they don't have one on the villain side for driving, which I found pretty interesting when I first played the game. Anywho, obviously a vehicle level is not going S tier, but it is actually going in the D tier. Sorry, guys. Just realized there was an E tier in there, and I don't do that. That's not how I structured my ranking system. 'Cause I actually went back and I played all the levels specifically for this video. Just story mode, not like trying to 100% the game or anything this time around. That would take a lot longer. But anyways, all right, guys. Starting off level 4, we have a poisonous appointment. Poison ivy, and so we start off outside, and then we're just we destroy some plants, and we get through the doors, and just we're kind of thrown into this little area with a bunch of goons. you know. Next up, we have a poisonous appointment. Poison ivy. Duh. We're going through, and we start off outside the botanical gardens, and you go through, and we make our way around, and then you beat this little plant monster. Then go in, and then you make your way through that building as well, fighting off goons and henchmen, and you eventually you make your way to Poison Ivy, and you take her out. Boom. You know what Batman is? He's an equal opportunity crime fighter.
Red Claw, watch out! Red Claw? A woman?
Do you have a problem with that?
Not at all. I'm an equal opportunity crime fighter.
I'm gonna put Poisonous Appointment up here at the top of the A tier. It's gonna sit there. I'll tell y'all now. It's just gonna sit right there. All right, next we have the face off. All right, you start out outside of the bank on the bridge, and then you move in. You move in, and it feels like you are breaking into the bank. Like you're the hero, but you're breaking in, trying to beat all these protective countermeasures that the bank has taken, which somehow the villains got through. And it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of it's not tons of puzzles, but it's a lot of maneuvering. And then once you get to this room where the there's little lights on the floor and the lasers come and get you, it's kind of a new feel. Going straight, moving around. It feels so different. I just love this level. And then you have Two Face walking in with all of this aura. Anyways, yeah, and then you get to the main room and you take them down. And that is why, not entirely, but a lot of the way, because of Two Face's aura. Um, Also, just the look of the game. It's a lot of fun going up and around, and it feels super fun when you're playing that level. And so for me, it's gonna go up in that S tier. All right, sue me. Don't. Um, yeah, that caps it off for the Riddler's Revenge section of the hero side, right? All right, we start off with there she goes again. Batman and Robin, they start in this super gritty, dark, it's raining part of Gotham. It's by the docks. It's got such a nice feel for it to be dark and good. And now it's good, dark and fun, and just it's super dark and gritty, and it's enjoyable, to kind of go through. It's raining, and it's got such a vibe that you want for Gotham City. Um, and you're going through, and for me, I did not personally enjoy this level. I felt like it was just so much, chasing, go, 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 and you're just going across the rooftops, which inherently is fun. But I didn't enjoy doing that over and over and over and over. And then getting to Catwoman, you're just having to chase her up and down. I get it, she's a cat, she can jump, and all that stuff. But overall, that was not my thing. With that being said, first level in this tier, she's going in the B tier. I couldn't enjoy this as much as I would have if it was just a little bit less, just traversing across the roofs. I feel like it's just a lot of normal villains and not enough like boom boom boom. But to each his own. Now we get into the Bat Boat battle. It's dumb. I don't like the level. I don't like the boat levels. I don't like the vehicle levels in general. I don't think anybody is like, this is my favorite level to Bat Boat battle or freaking biplane blast. Like no one likes that. And so I mean, I don't even have to say anything else about this level, but I am. It's actually okay visually on the water and stuff. Like, you're going through the docks and you're seeing what's going on here. Boss battle, it's just a penguin boat. Like, it does nothing. And so I didn't enjoy it, me personally. So, without further ado, F tier. Yeah, F tier. After you complete the Batboat battle, you move into Under the City, which is Killer Croc's level. So you're going through the sewers, and this honestly was a pretty fun level, except it was just a little bit long. I didn't personally enjoy some of the movement and the mechanics, especially once you get into that the third room where you are just going across different rooms within that room on the roof before you blow up and you get into Croc's area. I didn't enjoy that as much because it's a lot of just going back and forth and going around. Uh, that's just me. I like Killer Croc. I enjoy it. But for me, it wasn't enough to push over that room of just repetition, repetition, repetition. And just it was a little bit long. It was a little bit long. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in the C tier. Yeah, much love to Killer Croc, but his level is in a C tier. All right, up next we have Zoo's Company. We have Zoo's Company up next, and everyone loves this level. It's awesome. It's amazing. And so and you start out in front of the zoo and they've got the little buildings there, and it's a lot of fun for me at least to go in and check them out and just like it's moving on. You get to build all this cool stuff. And then you're going through the next part of the level and you're just you're traversing along. You get to see all the animals in free play. You can actually go through and you can interact with the animals. In the back corner of one of the exhibits is the red brick actually, so that's fun. I would say it's a very enjoyable level. I found you know the like jumping up the lily pads to be, it's okay. It wasn't my favorite, but you do have to get to that bomb suit. So it's okay that it was like that. I just don't understand why there's a boat in a zoo. Like that was kind of my thing. But whatever. Moving on to the boss level, it was it was funny. The bat, and then you build the that sound machine. You build the sound machine. Yeah, whatever it's called. And then you use it to hinder Man Bat, and then you get in a little 1-2 action, and then boom, he's out and then he blows it up. And then you have to do it again. You have to do it like 3 total times. But I super enjoyed that level. It was a lot of fun to do. It's got a lot visually. It's like you have the bright aspects of the zoo, but you still have like dark, kind of gritty stuff going on. And so that is why this is going S tier. Duh, duh. All right. Moving on, we have Penguin's Lair. That is the final level in this trilogy about Penguin on the hero side, and it is just bad. There is nothing memorable about this level. It's just the only thing you really do is you build a boat so that Robin can get across. Like that's about it. That's about it that you do. But then you get in, and the boss level is just like it's bad. You're battering two things. Penguin shoots a bomb down, and you have to just angle towards the treadmill that the penguins are on. Like that's just to me that was lame. I did not enjoy that level. It's just ugh. It was just so like I really have to do this to move on, and I didn't like it. And that is why it's going in the F tier above Battle. F tier. All right, up next, we start the Joker trilogy, and it is Joker's home turf. Okay, it's it says Joker's home turf, which I think just has to do with the fact that it's Ace Chemicals, but it's a Mad Hatter level, which I enjoy playing against the Mad Hatter. I enjoy playing against the Mad Hatter. It's a lot of fun, for me at least. Especially in the Arkham games where it's more like kind of mind bendy. But this, it's a Lego game, so it was still fun to enjoy playing this level. Except the first rooms, they take so long that once you get to the next room, inside where you got those glass windows at the back with a bunch of poison liquid, and you're kind of just traversing. You got to build those vehicles, whatever. You're just like begging for the boss to show up. It takes so long as a level. I know it's stunning visually. It's just it's not that good. It's just a lot of walking or running, which I don't personally enjoy. I want to have a lot of bang. I want to have a lot of action in the levels. And so that is why I'm putting Joker's home turf, putting it in the D tier, putting it in the D tier. Yeah, all right, up next we have Little Fun at the Big Top, which is an amazing level. I do enjoy it a lot. You're going in, you're traversing your way through the circus area, and then I personally, what ruins it for me is just I do not like the boss battle. You're just tiring out Harley Quinn and then you're landing a punch. Like I don't enjoy that. You do get to save Commissioner Gordon though, which is good, but I personally did not enjoy it as much as I would have if it was more of like kind of a puzzle thing rather than just like a running and following waiting game. I didn't enjoy that part, that aspect of the game. I did not enjoy that aspect of the boss fight, and so I'm only gonna put that at a B tier simply because it was good, but it hindered my experience that boss fight. I just did not enjoy it whatsoever. All right, up next we have another vehicle level, Flight of the Bat. It's against Scarecrow. He's got his biplane, and you're just following him. The one thing about this level I can't ignore is that you're in the Batwing or Robin's copter or whatever, and you can't fly above the obstacles. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like make something that's more vertical, like going through the buildings and something like that. Like that's more fun than just scrolling right and following this thing. Um, but it wasn't too terribly challenging of a level. It's not bad at all. Um, I didn't like it. It's a vehicle level, and it's just a lot of flying around, and you hold your shoot button just over and over and over and over, just so you can destroy everything and just get the coin. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. And also, like, you grab you grab Scarecrow's plane with Robin's helicopter, and then you switch to the Batwing and shoot it before he disconnects from Robin's. Like, I didn't like this level all around. It wasn't my favorite. But it was nice to see the Batwing. I do enjoy the Batwing itself. But other than that, this level was a dud. Stunning visuals though, FYI. Top of F tier. That's where it belongs. All right, up next we have this fire level. All right, called In the Dark Knight. It's you follow Killer Moth around, and now this level is absolutely fire. All right, I'm talking 5 stars. It's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing level. Um, it's you follow them around, and you end up going. You have to go through a club, which is so funny to me. It's very adult for a Lego game actually. That you have It's very adult for a Lego game, actually. You have kegs and you have the women, and it's just like it's so weird. And you get upstairs, and obviously you meet the amazing dancing robot, and you build him, and he helps you out, and he breaks that wall. You go out that back door, and you get down, and the streets are on fire. There's poison goo on the ground. Like you're navigating that all while being shot at by goons, and ultimately it was just such a good level. And then you get to Killer Moth, you kill him with a light bulb. I just thought that was funny. Um, yeah, it's 10 out of 10, 5 stars, amazing level. I loved it so much. With that being said, it goes up to the S tier. And now you might be thinking, why is there like one thing in the C tier? Save room for later. You know what I mean? All right, guys. Starting off the villain side, you have to go through from the hero side to the villain side. So you go by the Bat computer in the Bat cave. You go all the way to the right, and you see this little panel with 2 villains standing on a computer on the other side. You go up to it, you flip the lever, and then you're in Arkham Asylum. And then you make your way to the levels. Clicking next to the Two Face fan, and you start the first level. It's called Riddler Makes a Withdrawal, and It's honestly it's pretty fun. It's a great starter for the villains. I enjoy Clayface as a villain, but it's a super good level. I did thoroughly enjoy it. Um, there wasn't like a real boss. You were just kind of playing through the level. But I enjoyed it. I just thought it was a little bit longer. Like I thought there were a lot of rooms involved with this one, and it kind of was like, okay, well, I'm glad it's over now. I'm glad. It was good. And that's why I am putting it in the A tier right there. Up next, you have On the Rocks, which is the Mr. Freeze level. And honestly, it's super underwhelming. It looks nothing like we saw in an Icy Reception. Like um, the rooms don't look anything like an ice cream factory. It's just kind of like you're in the freezer. Like it wasn't a good level in my opinion. It was not fun. And the only thing that is the same is the final room, and I did not enjoy it at all. I was not a fan of the level. That is why I'm putting it in the D tier. It wasn't my vibe. Up next, you have Green Fingers, which is Poison Ivy's level. I'm going to say it right now. It does not compare whatsoever to a Poisonous Appointment. It is way lower on my rankings. I will say it does look great. It is a great looking level. I just thought there was like one or two too many rooms. Like it wasn't even that it was a long level. It was just like, okay, then you do this basic thing, and then you do this basic thing, and then you do this basic thing. It wasn't very like mentally challenging until the final room. I actually thought that was a great idea. It was a really good final room for me. You constantly had the cops coming in, like falling in, so there wasn't any like stagnant area or stagnant parts of that room. And so I enjoyed that part of it, but ultimately I enjoyed that final room, but ultimately Green Fingers is going to go in that C tier. Up next we have an enterprising theft. And now this level was It was a solid And I say that because there was the good parts of it and there was bad parts of it. And the one big bad part of it was that everything was yellow. Like it just looked weird. I did not enjoy it as much as, I could have. It was whatever. Um, and a big part I didn't like also was that the final fight was a mech. Like you had to use it was basically a vehicle mission at that point. And I feel like there was no creativity, and it was just they threw a mech in there because they could. They're not going to come up with some boss for this level. Kind of annoying, to be honest. And also there was like nothing memorable about that level. Like it was like not very fun of a level to me. That is why it goes into the D tier. Up next we have breaking blocks, and now when you start the level, it was downhill from there. It was not a very good location. Well, I say location. It didn't look very good. It didn't have a traditional outside Gotham feel, to me at least. And then I went inside, and you're going through the level, and it was kind of just the whole time. It wasn't very fun. You defeat some enemies, then there's nothing. You're beating a puzzle, and you're going through. It wasn't as fun as like any of like some of the other levels. There wasn't like as much to keep me engaged. And then the only memorable thing is actually super negative. There's a mech. There's a freaking mech as the boss fight. Ugh. It's not even as the boss fight. You have to use it to break them. It's a copy and paste boss fight from the level before. There's a mech. It's just like it's not fun at all to have a mech, because then it's like basically you're not even getting to punch one two people. You're just kind of there. That's my opinion, and so that is why it is going in the D tier. Up next, you have Rock in the Docks, which has Bane and the Penguin starting off his trilogy. And now it is nice to have Bane because he wasn't actually in the first. It wasn't in the hero side. He's just here in the villain side, and it is honestly pretty nice. He's the strong, and he can handle poison. Uh, but it is kind of funny his jumping animation. It's pretty funny. Just kind of dives right there into the ground. But this level was pretty long. For my standards, it was pretty long. But you did get to see him move a boat, so that was pretty fun. It was okay. It wasn't personally my favorite, but it wasn't the worst thing out there. I do really enjoy the level. I just thought it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. Because in that final room, there's just tons of stuff, and you're just kind of scrolling left and right because you have to go across that little inlet. It was kind of like a lot in the last room. You were kind of waiting for the level to be done, but it was a pretty good level overall. I thought it was good. It was a good level overall, and that's why I'm putting it in the B tier because it could have been better without so much like crammed into that last room and just kind of a little bit of running throughout the rest of the level. But it was good. It was a pretty good level. I would say it's an average level. Up next, we have Stealing the Show, which is Penguin and Catwoman. And now this level is super underwhelming. I did not completely enjoy it. It's a lot of rooftop work and just kind of maneuvering around Gotham, kind of evading the cops, and then you break into the museum, and once you see those dinosaurs, and then you're like, whoa, that's when the level should have stopped. It was not anything fun really after that. I mean, I was just kind of like, it's a drag. You're running through this place, and it's like it doesn't feel like it's a good location. It wasn't something that I enjoyed playing through. The only thing I enjoyed in that part of the level, and really in the level in general, was riding the dinosaur. And so that is why I am putting it in the C tier right there. Yeah. Up next, we have Harboring a Grudge, which is Killer Croc in his boat and Penguin in his submarine. And now this level is, it seems it's a little bit different than Bat Battle, but it's still a vehicle mission, so it's ranked lower already. And then um, it's just like it wasn't very fun. It wasn't something I enjoyed playing through. And the boss is the exact same, the exact same, except it's a police boat and not a penguin boat. It's the exact same concept. Why? Why would you have the same concept? It doesn't make sense. And that, of course, is getting in the F tier. Up next, we have a daring rescue, which is Killer Croc and the Penguin weeding through what I'd assume is the police station to break out Catwoman. And now this level was just super. It wasn't like awesome. My favorite part, and it's very minuscule. My favorite part was getting to like break out the goons from their cells. Like that was funny. Just cha-ching, and then you blow up the door and you move on. You forget about the goons, which is kind of the thing. They just do whatever, and they say that it's in Penguin's name. It's kind of funny. And then the boss is that you just roll a bomb into a door and Catwoman gets free. I was just super underwhelmed by this level of like what the storyline was, what the plot was, and the puzzles weren't my favorite either. It wasn't great. Now I did like the visuals on this. This was a pretty good visually looking level, maneuvering throughout the building. They did a good job of making the buildings or the rooms look a little bit different. But ultimately, this wasn't my favorite level, and so Daring Rescue goes in the C tier. Up next is the fifth and final level of the Penguin section of the trilogy on the villain side, and Arctic World was, it was a lot better than Penguin's Lair. I will straight up say that. There was more to do in this level. Whenever I was, even before, like I had the idea to do this level, and before I was actually playing the levels, I was thinking through, like, oh, Penguin's Lair wasn't bad. Everything I remember that was good about Penguin's Lair was in Arctic World. Like there was, still, throwing shade on Penguin's Lair, but this level Arctic World, it could have been better. It was pretty fun, go through. Like it wasn't a terrible level in and of itself. There were some parts where it kind of dragged, but it was okay. It was just an all right level. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at a solid C tier. It was just not the best. A surprise for the commissioner is up next, starting off the Joker section of the villain side. I will say I did enjoy parts of this level, and I will critique parts of this level. It was a pretty good level. I enjoyed some of the stuff they did. One thing I enjoyed was that in different parts of this level, the music like was super eerie and creepy, which I pretty much I enjoyed it. And then going through, you got to go down the roller coaster, and like some of this stuff was like kind of like like that part I didn't enjoy the going up and down in the roller coaster area. But moving on, I actually did kind of find, oddly enough, I found the boss fight to be entertaining. You've got all those cops and it's Commissioner Gordon, and you're picking up the little teddy bears on a crane. Like I thought that was kind of fun. I felt like that's such like a Harley Quinn thing to do. Just it's like making a game out of it. I thought it was pretty fun overall. And so with that, I thought it was fun that Harley Quinn was like making a game out of it. And so overall, this goes in the B tier, right there. Nope, right there. Up next, we have Biplane Blast, another vehicle level. It's Scarecrow and the Joker. Changed my tone of voice, trying to be positive about this absolute dumpster fire. I didn't enjoy this level, as you guys can tell. It's a vehicle mission, so it gets ranked lower already. I couldn't, I couldn't get behind it. There was some stuff that was a little bit better than the original Flight of the Bat, but there was stuff that was worse. I couldn't like it. It wasn't something I enjoyed. The visuals were all right, but overall, there were some parts that were a little complicated. And I shouldn't judge it off this, but in free play, there's something you have to do that's time based from when you enter the room, which I think is crazy. Because if you are like low health and you die, you have to restart the level in order to do that one thing. In order to get, I don't remember if it was a red brick or a mini kit, but it is one of the two. Severely important. With that being said, I am going to go ahead and put this in, you guessed it, the F tier, right above Battle. Up next, we have Joker's masterpiece. Scarecrow and Joker go through this museum, and the rooms, honestly, they look so good. This is a well done level so far. I did really appreciate they made the paintings Lego form of actual famous paintings. I did enjoy that a lot. I enjoyed that severely. And there's one room in particular that I was kind of peeved with, and it was actually the last room. I was just like, it wasn't my thing. You're going through and you have to get across this like vat of I think it was poison, and you are sending something on a box around. Like I thought that was kind of lame. It just felt super warehouse style, which like I get it, museums have warehouses, but this was just it seemed super out of place. And for me, that kind of it lowered it a little bit, but it still overall was a pretty fun level. I did enjoy getting to see the visuals of the museum. It was pretty fun. There was some fun rooms in that museum, and so ultimately that brings it up for me to move it to the A tier. I thought it was pretty well done. Up next, we have the Lure of the Night, and now this is the Killer Moth and Joker level. And I already have the Killer Moth in the Dark Knight level as number one on the S tier. Now I enjoy Killer Moth. I think it's a fun character, especially this Lego form is kind of funny. And then so I don't want you guys to think, oh, he just likes Killer Moth, that's why he's ranking it this high. No, this Lure of the Night was absolutely outstanding of a level. it was fun. You are fighting with goons against cops in one portion. That was a lot of fun. There are parts of it that are kind of stagnant. They're just big open spaces that you kind of go through. But I feel like that's okay for this level. Like there's so much good that a little bit of bad, it's all right. You can't get 100% on a level, but you can get 99 and a half. Like that was a very, very well done level. Um, I super enjoyed this level for Lure of the Night. It was so gritty, it was so dark and heavy, and it was a lot of fun for me to play through. And so obviously it goes up in that S tier. It was so good. You know what? Actually, no, I'm changing this. I'm moving it above Zoo's Company. Up next, we have Dying of Laughter. And now this is the final level of the game. Just kidding. There's two bonus levels. We'll go over those in a second. But it's the last of the game. And it was super underwhelming. I didn't completely enjoy it. I will say I did enjoy it more in free play than in the story mode. Because like some of the stuff, it was more like, you're destroying some stuff for coin, of course, but this stuff now in free play you can actually do stuff with that stuff, which like, it makes sense. That's how free play works. But this level, like it made it so much better because of it. And so the story mode was pretty bland. For me, I didn't enjoy that. Like you to beat the level, you build the two structures at the end. Like that was like super lame to me. Like that's how you end the game. That's how you end the story mode of the game. So I was pretty annoyed with that. And so obviously this is low, but there was one of the rooms I really enjoyed. It was a vertical looking type room. It wasn't like a scroll to the left or the right. It was like scroll front back. And it was good. I enjoyed that room, but obviously it's still low, and so I'm going to put it in the C tier. It was just eh. Congratulations, we just finished the 30 story levels of Lego Batman the video game. Now, before I go on to the two bonus levels, I just wanted to say please like, comment, subscribe. This game means a lot to me, and I really am curious as to what you guys think is S tier worthy, or even what I should move down or up. And should I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. But do that, please. It would mean a lot to me. The only way I can rank the two bonus levels is honestly ranking them together. They're basically the same thing. And now, obviously, they have different challenges and goals, but they're basically the same thing. They're zoomed out. There's less graphically going on. It's super kind of bland. And so it wasn't something that I expected when I was playing through. There's like tedious challenges that you have to go through. The goal is to get a million studs on each one of them. And so it takes some time. You have to kind of figure out what you're doing, but I enjoyed this. It was a good like these bonus levels were good for what they were. And so, I'm ranking these two off the top of my head. And so I'm gonna rank the Wayne Manor level. Notice that I was ranking Wayne Manor and Arkham Asylum side by side about 10, 15 seconds ago. But I am separating them for the tier ranking. I was just explaining them side by side because I don't want to do it twice. Basically the same thing with different challenges. But Wayne Manor's challenges, they didn't seem as like enjoyable and as fun as Arkham Asylum's. And so that is why, for me, okay, so with the Wayne Manor level and the Arkham Asylum level, I accidentally put them onto the chart because I was trying to see where I was thinking through where I wanted to place them, and then I accidentally placed them and I can't get them out. So I'm just gonna move them. I'm gonna maneuver them. So I'm putting Arkham Asylum above on the rocks, rightfully so, and then I'm putting Wayne Manor right below it in D tier. That's the best I could do with this list. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments and subscribe and follow for more. Much love.